Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. We got some free agency rumors. So the Washington Commanders are expected to be interested in cornerback Shaquill Griffin once he's released by the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we're going to talk about that in today's video. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content. Also, okay, so this was reported by Chad Forbes, who he's a somewhat of a reporter, reports some news and everything. Not a big national media guy, and he's been wrong before, he's been right before. So with all these things, even if it is a national guy, you got to take it with a grain of salt. But he said when released by the Jaguars, the Commanders are expected to have interest in cornerback Shaquill Griffin, who signed a relatively big deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars the same year that William Jackson III got signed by us, which was an absolute disaster. Absolute disaster. The William Jackson III move for the Commanders ended up poorly. They were able to get out of the contract. I'm very, very thankful for that. But Shaquill Griffin, this is what Jeremy Fowler says. He hasn't been released yet, but he said the Jaguars are expected to release or attempt to trade him. Usually when people say that, they're going to get released because a trade partner isn't going to come to fruition. And he says still just 27 years old and a former Pro Bowler. I think that was in 2019. Griffin figures to be a key player in the cornerback market. So pretty interesting right there. Let's talk about Shaquill Griffin, the player. So he's 6 foot, 200 pounds, played at UCF with his brother, and you guys can see some of his other measurables there as well. And then we'll look at his stats. We'll look at his basic stats, and then I always, especially for the cornerbacks and cover play, guys that are in coverage, I like to look at a little bit more advanced stats as well. So the Jacksonville Jaguars fans were not very polite to him. They did not, they were happy with the news that he's expected to be released. They were happy with that news. So you have to, with everything, you have to take what these fans are saying with a grain of salt, because obviously they are a little bit biased because they just paid him a lot of money. It didn't work out. They're releasing him, and they just didn't think he played well. They said he got burnt a lot. They said that the defense got better when he was out this past year, which is similar to what happened here with William Jackson III. I mean, basically the same thing. They both played around 5 games. And I guess the Jacksonville Jaguars defense got a lot better. Our defense certainly did. But let's look at his, kind of career. So first round pick, I believe, for the Seattle Seahawks. If not first, it was like a second. But I believe it was a first round pick. Was solid for them, 2017, 2018. Didn't do a ton. Let's see. Interception. He had 3 interceptions his first 2 years. I believe 2019 was his Pro Bowl year. 2020 was solid. Then 2020 was good. 3 interceptions, and don't have the coverage numbers right here. We'll go to that in a second. And then he gets paid. I think it was around $13 million a year, about what he got paid with about what William Jackson III got paid from us. And then this past year didn't have a great year. Played 5 games and was hurt. I'm not sure what the injury was, but looks like the defense played better without him, and it looks like he did not have a great 2021 season. But let's take a little bit of a deeper look. And these stats, sometimes they're not able to super accurately get these stats because sometimes it's kind of 50-50 on who the blame was on. But look at his stats. 2018 allowed a 66% completion percentage, 105 pass rating. Not great. The 2019 year looks like his best year, and he made the Pro Bowl. 57% completion percentage, which is pretty damn good. And allowed 4 touchdowns, 97 pass rating allowed. That's not amazing, honestly. That's like about average. But let's see, and his missed tackling percentage was pretty high in 2018 to 2019. 2020, completion percentage up, but pass rating down. Touchdowns up, yards up as well. So I'm not sure why the pass rating is down. I guess maybe because he got some interceptions. And then 2021 had the worst year of his career, or at least the worst year that they're showing here. 70% completion percentage, 110 pass rating. This past year, smaller sample size, 65% completion percentage, 110 pass rating. And, his missed tackling percentage has gotten better over time. So he's not a terrible tackler, but, he did struggle with injury with injuries this past season, but for the most part, he's been relatively healthy. You look at it, 2017 missed 1 game, then in the next 2 years only missed 2 games, 2020 missed 4 games, 2021 missed 3, and then this year missed. So not like he's super, super healthy, but besides this year, he really didn't have any major injuries, which is a plus. But in terms of how he fits in Washington, if the Commanders went out and signed him, I would be okay with it. But I'm definitely not, begging for them to do it. I don't really think it's a necessary move, because I do think there's some really good corners in the draft, like Christian Gonzalez and Joey Porter, Devin Weatherspoon. One of those guys is probably going to be available at 16, and you can plug those guys in at outside corner, move Kendall Fuller into the slot, and Benjamin St-Juste can be your outside guy. Shaquill Griffin is, it's just, you're going to have to pay him some money. It's not going to be a lot, but it's not going to be a little either. It's probably going to be in between, it's probably going to be in that $8 to $11 million range. I think that's what it's going to be, unless he decides to do a 1-year prove-it deal. I just don't think he's worth that money when you can just get a guy in the first round that maybe in his first year won't be as good as that guy, but we saw 2 corners be, in Tariq Woolen and Sauce Gardner be top 10 corners in the league, arguably even better than that in their rookie year. So who knows? Maybe one of the first-round corners could be that in their rookie year, especially with the D-line we're going to have this year with, probably Deron Payne, hopefully Chase Young steps up, and then Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, Fadarian Mathis, John Ridgeway, and all those guys. So that could really be a good formula and, be good for a first-round corner, would be good for them to play here and would get them excited to play here. And same thing for free agents, honestly. They might want to play behind a D-line like ours. And I don't know, though. Shaquill Griffin, I would probably pass. If they did it, it would be okay. I think what they need is, they're in a weird situation because right now they have 2 starting outside corners in Kendall Fuller and in Benjamin St-Juste. They don't have a starting slot guy, though. They have 2 outside guys, and then Danny Johnson, Wild Goose are depth guys. I like Danny Johnson, but they have kind of something to kind of debate. Do they, right in going into the offseason, they're like, okay, Kendall Fuller is going to move into the slot this year. We're going to sign an outside guy in free agency that's like a low-tier starter to, good backup. Someone, an upgraded, a significantly better version than Danny Johnson. And then we're going to draft a corner in the first round, and that's going to be our starter. So our lineup's going to be Benjamin St-Juste, first-round rookie, and then Kendall Fuller in the slot. And then you have that really good backup to be either I don't know, on the outside or slot? Or do you sign a bigger time free agent in free agency like Marcus Peters or one of the top name guys? I don't know if Shaquill Griffin would be. He's up there. But one of those guys, Byron Murphy, Marcus Peters, Jonathan Jones, etc. One of those main guys that's going to come in. They're not signing to be a backup, they're a starter. Then those guys are going to be outside, or maybe one of them's in the slot, and you don't know if, for the time being, Kendall Fuller is going to be a starter. But, when you get to the draft, if you do draft a first-round rookie, well, then one of those guys is going to be on the bench, whether it's Kendall Fuller or that Kendall Fuller or that guy you just signed, or even Benjamin St-Juste. I don't think Benjamin St-Juste should be on the bench, but that's just something that would be on the mind of those guys. It's either, like I said, the first scenario, they go into the offseason saying, okay, Kendall, we're going to move you into the slot. You're going to be our starting slot corner. Benjamin St-Juste is going to be the other outside corner, and we're going to draft a guy in the first round or sign a guy. That, you would be pretty clear on what you're doing. But the other scenario where you sign a bigger time guy and you just have to kind of think about what you're going to do with Kendall Fuller, if you're going to release him or if you're going to move him to the slot or have him as a backup. It's just a lot of things to think about. So that's just something that I'm very, very interested in what they do there with Kendall Fuller. If they keep on the outside, keep him in the slot. He's too expensive to be a backup. 11, whatever. I don't know what his cap hit is, but it's over 10 mil, probably like 14 mil because it's the last year of his deal. That's too much to have as a backup, in my opinion. That's just my thoughts, though. So overall, the cornerback situation is very, very interesting this year for the Commanders. We'll see what happens. I rather draft a guy and I just rather draft a first-round rookie, have him as a starter, have Benjamin St-Juste as the other starter, slide Kendall Fuller into the slot, and then maybe sign a really solid backup, fringe backup slash starter that can back up on the outside, because we know Benjamin St-Juste is not very, healthy all the time. So yeah, that is it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video, and even hit that thanks button. So not sure if I will probably not stream today.